Hello students, welcome to biology class. All the living organisms exhibit several features. You have come across certain processes that they exhibit such as digestion, respiration, circulation, excretion, response to the stimulus, reproduction and so on. Now during this session we will discuss and learn the most important feature of living organisms, the reproduction. Welcome to reproduction in organisms. All the living organisms possess or exhibit different kinds of processes. All these life processes are vital only, and these are shown by the living organisms during their lifetime. The period from the birth to the natural death is called lifespan. Remember what is lifespan? The period from the birth to the natural death is called lifespan. So there is a list of organisms and the lifespan of those organisms have been mentioned in this table. All the life processes are exhibited by the living organism during this lifespan. These examples like mayfly lives for 1 day, butterfly for 1 to 2 weeks, wheat plant for 6 months, crow for 15 years, dogs usually 15 to 25 years, depends. Banana tree 25 years, human like 100 years, and in many cases it may increase also. Then parrot usually 140 years, banyan tree it is 200 years. Exception is that we see no natural death in single-celled organisms. That's one exception. At the same time, many trees survive for a very long period of time. One such example is the Pinus longiveale, that is called yew tree, that lives for 4,845 years and that has been recorded in the year 2013. Some examples which I would like to quote in Mysore, a peepal tree which lives for 2,500 years, that is the lifespan of the peepal tree. In Gangotri Men's Hostel, Mysore, you can see there is one peepal tree surviving for 150 years. And at the same time, near the Crawford Hall, there is a neem tree which is since 110 years it's surviving. A tamarind tree which is found in the University of Mysore that has started its growth 350 years back. And the red silk cotton tree lived for 100 years. It is found in the Mysore Palace, that is north gate of it. So we just discussed about the lifespan of different organisms and they exhibited by the living organisms. Okay, now we shall discuss the vital process that's called the reproduction. It is biological process wherein new offsprings are produced from their parents. It's the fundamental phenomena of all the living organisms which enables the continuity of species. We should study the reproduction process in detail. There are mainly two modes of reproduction. One is asexual mode, the other one is the sexual mode. Coming to the asexual mode, it is this method or the mode of reproduction, a single parent is capable of producing the offspring. Single parent is enough to produce the offspring. These offspring seems to be very identical to each other or to one another, and they are exact copies of their parent. We use the term to describe as a clone to some of them which are found to be genetically and morphologically similar individuals. So we shall start with some of the modes of asexual reproduction called binary fission. Usually this binary fission is very common in bacteria. We shall discuss about this concept wherein the parent cell divides into two halves. Each half grows into adult. Even in case of amoeba also, we come across this mode of asexual reproduction in amoeba as well as in the paramecium. Coming to the next mode called cell division. In this phenomena, we see the process in protists and monarians. The organisms are the parental cell divides into two to give rise to new individuals. Like in case of desmids, we come across this kind of a phenomena in desmids. Moving on to the third one called the budding. Budding is a process or the phenomena of asexual reproduction. In some cases, the division is unequal. The small structures called buds are produced that are found attached to the parent cell, and is in the beginning they are found to be attached, and later onwards they get detached and they are motile also to form a new cell. See, you can see the bud formation here. This is the bud formation found on the major parental cell, and this is the bud. After maturity, it will get detached by the parental cell and it will grow into a new individual. And you can see this kind of reproduction in hydra and then yeast also. Yeast also you can see the bud scars are found to be present, and these buds are going to develop into a new individual. Moving on to the next asexual mode called zoospore. Some organisms like fungi and algae, there are some special asexually reproducing structures which are seen. They are very commonly called zoospores. They are microscopic and they are motile also. You can see in case of fungi and the algal forms, the zoospores are produced and then they grow into a new individual. Moving on to the next asexual mode is the conidial structure, conidia formation. Non-motile asexual spore-like structures which are usually produced in the large number. They are dispersed into the air. You can see this is the conidiophore, and to which there is a medulla that is attached to the conidiophore, and at the tip you can see the conidial structures. They are dispersed by the air. When they get suitable substrate, then they continue the generation and then continue to survive. Moving on to the next one is the gemule. They are the internal buds found in some cases like sponges. You can see the sponge gemules which are found in the unfavorable condition, and then they are going to have a small layer which is called the spicules. There is a small layer of spicules which help them to survive during the unfavorable condition. This is about the asexual mode of reproduction. Then moving on to the plants. These are the lower organisms which we discussed. In higher organisms like plant, we come across the vegetative mode of reproduction. Even this is also asexual mode only. And in this asexual mode of reproduction that are seen in higher organisms such as the plant kingdom members. The vegetative part or the structures of these certain plants are capable of reproducing their own kind of offsprings asexually. Such structures are called vegetative propagules, and this is the evidential that no two parents are involved in this process of the phenomena. That's why it is also an asexual mode of reproduction. You can see the rhizome formation. Rhizome is the term where we use for vegetative reproduction or vegetative propagule as a rhizome. Here you can see the nodes in the ginger, and then there is an adventitious root found in this ginger, and small buds are found in the tip of these ginger branches, and it grows into a new individual. And this is also a vegetative mode of reproduction. When we talk about the next mode is the tuber. Here the potato structure, when you keep it for a long time, you can see the eye buds are formed on the surface of these potatoes, and this is called the tuber mode of asexual reproduction or the vegetative reproduction. Even in the case of onions, we find the bulb. You can see the base of this scape here. Here you can see, and there is the bulb. Bulb is the outer outgrowth or the structure of the onion, which we call. Below that we find adventitious roots, and here inside this, when you cut and dissect the onion, you can see the fleshy scale leaf. Okay, here this will grow into a new individual after the maturity time. And then you can come across another mode of vegetative propagation is runner. In case of grants and also the Centella asiatica, you can see the plant growing. This is the original plant which is growing. Next to that, it starts running. The stem part starts running, and there will be a node formed, and from the node there is fibrous adventitious roots growing below the soil layer, and there is green leaf structure also grows above the soil layer, and this is going to form a new individual as a runner. In case of grass also you can see this. And even the asiatica, that is Centella asiatica, you can come across the same mode of vegetative reproduction. Here you can see the suckers, very common in chrysanthemum, that is the flower which bears, the chrysanthemum plant bears the flower during the maturity of this major, the parental plant. You can see the side growth, and this grows on the soil layer, leaving behind the adventitious roots, and there will be a sucker to help to get attached to the soil layer, and there the adventitious roots grow, and the stem also will grow into a new individual, and this is what we consider it as a vegetative mode of propagation. Then you come across the offset. It is very common in Eichhornia. It is a aquatic plant. It's also named as water hyacinth. In this case, you can see the main plant. This is the main plant. There you can see the offset. This is the structure called offset, and when it starts growing, if it condition is worth for its continuity of life, and it grows into another structure, and leaves are found above the water level, and below that you can see the root pockets, and root pockets are found here. This is called the offset mode, which is very common in water hyacinth and also named as Eichhornia. Moving on to the last one, the vegetative reproduction in plants, the bulbil. In most of the agave, which we grow it in the fencing plant, as a fencing plant, these agave is also one of the example for forming a bulbil. The agave plant is grown, below that or beside that the bulbil is going to be found, and this is going to grow into a new individual. And then one more is there, it is called the leaf bud formation. In the example as a bryophyllum, you will come across the notches of these bryophyllum leaf. You can see the outgrowths of new individual which are formed as a leaf bud. Bud formed from the leaf part. It's called the notch bud, which are found on the leaf structure. It's very common in bryophyllum. It's grow into a new individual seen or in some of the cactus family. Now, what we have learned in this session, we will recollect and summarize it. So, we learned what is lifespan, the definition for the reproduction process, and two modes of reproduction as asexual and sexual mode. Under the asexual mode of reproduction, we learned the example as a binary fission, then cell division, then budding, then zoospore formation, conidial structure, and the last one is the gemule formation. These are all seen in lower organisms, and in the higher organisms like plant, we come across the different modes of vegetative reproduction called rhizome, tuber, bulb, runner, sucker, offset, and then bulbil. The last one is the leaf bud formation in case of biofilm. I have given the examples for each of these vegetative mode of reproduction. So I hope you have understood these. I hope you have understood all these concepts well. If you like my class, please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you one and all.